I asked AI what happens to the world with Trump as president again. So I'll be showing you ChatGPT's response and adding some of my own commentary along the way. This was the essence of my question to ChatGPT. With Donald Trump as president again, how is the world affected, specifically regarding the implications of war and international relations, as well as technological innovation and free speech? This is the response I got. The world will likely experience significant shifts in several critical areas. Point 1. War and international relations. Risk of conflict escalation. Trump's transactional, often unpredictable foreign policy style could increase tensions in already volatile regions, particularly in the Middle East and East Asia. His hardline stance on Iran and focus on America First policies could spark regional escalations, especially if the US disengages from alliances or reverts to more confrontational tactics with countries like China and Iran. Weaker global alliances. Trump's skepticism of NATO and other multilateral institutions could strain long-standing alliances and embolden adversarial powers, including Russia and China, to expand their influence. This might result in a more fractured international order, with traditional US allies forced to navigate global threats without the firm backing of American support. Okay, so this could be true, but I feel that there's a bit of a conflict in logic here, because it mentions weaker alliances due to his skepticism of allied nations and unconventional foreign policy, which is valid. But then it mentions Iran, China, and Russia as adversaries. But Trump is on friendly terms with Putin, and Russia is friendly with China. And Trump has also made efforts to withdraw troops from the Middle East during his first presidency. It's basically saying that he would likely increase tensions with both adversaries and allies, which I think doesn't make much sense realistically. Let me know what you think, and also like and subscribe to make you immune to having hair like Donald Trump. Okay, moving on. Point 2. Technological innovation. Increased pressure on China. Trump's stance on China has historically involved tariffs, export controls, and limitations on tech partnerships. If he returns, we might see a renewed tech war with US restrictions on Chinese companies like Huawei and TikTok that could lead to further decoupling of the US and Chinese tech sectors. This could accelerate China's push for self-reliance, with each side advancing separate technological ecosystems. Maybe less TikTok would be a good thing in an age where brain rot is rampant. But yeah, I totally understand wanting to be less dependent on other countries. It's not a bad thing if a nation can be self-reliant, especially for technology, manufacturing, and food. But you can certainly achieve more by having partnerships, and it's a delicate balance to manage those relationships. Reduced focus on green technology. Trump has downplayed climate change as a priority, favoring traditional energy sources over renewable energy initiatives. This could mean less federal support for green technology research and development in the US, potentially slowing the global momentum toward clean energy, as other nations might have to shoulder more of the investment and leadership burden in this area. I don't think it's true that he would reduce support for green energy research and development. It doesn't make much sense, since he and Elon Musk have shared interests, and Musk is of course leading the charge in green energy solutions. Point 3. Free speech and digital platforms. Potential increase in government control over digital platforms. Trump has shown an interest in pushing for more government influence over how tech companies handle political speech. This could lead to new legal battles over censorship and free expression, with potential ripple effects around the world as other countries might follow the US's lead in regulating or restricting tech platforms. State-level pushbacks on free speech rights. Trump's influence on conservative-leaning states could inspire local laws that either limit or expand free speech based on political lines. This might create a fragmented landscape where rights to free speech vary significantly depending on the state, affecting civil liberties and potentially increasing legal battles over free expression. Pressure on big tech and Section 230. Trump has been critical of social media companies, especially after his ban from platforms like Twitter, now X, and Facebook, following the January 6 attack. In a second term, he could seek changes to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which currently protects tech platforms from liability for user-generated content. This could force platforms to adopt new content moderation practices or, conversely, allow for fewer restrictions, affecting the landscape of free speech online. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but to me it doesn't sound like such a bad thing if tech companies are regulated, so they cannot simply do whatever they want with users and user data. However, the danger is regulating tech companies to such an extent that they become liable for what the users generate, because this would mean that in order to protect themselves, the tech companies would be forced to monitor and censor their users very strictly, the exact opposite goal of free speech. But once again, Trump shares common interests with Elon Musk, who is big on free speech and who lifted the Twitter ban on Trump subsequent to buying the platform. So free speech seems to be of interest to both of them. And Trump has also made a move towards this with Truth Social, his very own alternative media platform. And that brings us to rise of alternative media and platforms. Under Trump, there may be an increase in support for alternative social media platforms that promise fewer content restrictions, which could widen the reach of non-mainstream media and increase the fragmentation of online discourse. This shift could further polarize public discourse globally, as people gravitate toward platforms aligned with their political beliefs. And indeed, the issue with this is that people can start to pigeonhole themselves into very narrow ideologies if they only ever expose themselves to information and platforms which align with their biases. But that's already true even now, as people gravitate towards media and personalities which feel right to them. So, are you happy or upset that Trump won? Let me know in the comments. Either way, just remember that the responsibility still lies with you to direct your own life's journey. And so, this concludes my review of ChatGPT's response. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you might want to check out these videos next. Thanks for watching. Bye.